Hi guys, and welcome to another video. And today we'll be making a replacement for the Martial, because it isn't that old yet, but it will also of course take a couple years for us to engineer a replacement. So I don't think we'll go. I'm not sure if we would go with that one. But I've looked at this and this looks quite interesting. Now it is very weird, a very weird body at least, but it also looks very French. Look, it even says French hatchback. So I think maybe we gotta use that. If it even says French hatchback, and I think it's a bit pretty fun with a weird bod like this. What on earth? It is very ugly. But also got to look up because if it's named French hatchback, I'm guessing it's made by a French manufacturer, and I don't want to make it too similar to that. So I got make sure it looks different enough. Now I think we'll use the new engines. There we go. And we'll of course go for transverse front wheel drive, a manual 4-speed, open differentials, radial tires, a hard long life compound, drums solid disc in the front, drums in the rear, no under tray, standard interior, manual rack and pinion, no traction aids, standard springs and gas monotube dampers. I think this should be sort of good, but let's try to morph it a little bit. How do we... Okay. We could change that, but I think we're gonna use our own bumper, so we will make that not exist as much. What is this? We will not do that. That just looks stupid. We can raise this or lower it a lot. That just creates a stripe. I'm not sure if we wanna do that. Maybe. What's the... Can we make... No, we can't have that as a stripe. That if we would have to do that, we'd have to do that with fixtures. And that could get quite hard. And not look all that good. We can't change a lot about the front. But although we can change the bumper. But then that becomes... Why does that happen? Wait, what? Why does this follow that? Okay, I'm not too sure anymore if we will be using this body. It is quite strange, and I'm not too sure it's strange in a good way. And if I click on that, the game just crashes. So I don't think we'll use this at all. This is not a great body, it seems like. But I will be back with you when the game stops freezing. Okay, so about 15 hours later, we are back. But why does that change something there? Okay, we will definitely not be using this body. It is way too... it has very bad morphing. Although it would be fun to use this. But sadly no. I'm guessing we could use this. It would probably fit. Now I think this would have been good if we released it about now. Or in a year. It will look quite outdated in 1975, I would say. At least outdated in Europe, I think. So I think we'll use this. So I think this is better. And I'm pretty sure it's the same one that we used for... Did we call it BeamNG or something like that in Masato. I think we put that maybe a bit forward. We put this about right there, and we will put that. I guess we can't change that. I quite like this body style. It looks pretty good, and I don't think. Wait. Oh, I'm sorry about that. That was just my alarm. I got to do something that I have forgotten. But let's keep forgetting that. And do we just pop up headlights on this? We could just pop up headlights on this, but that would probably not be a good idea. So let's become more boring and do that instead. What on earth? We can change a lot in morphing on this car. Maybe a bit too much. But do we do that? Now it looks a bit like maybe some sort of a station wagon. What's that? What is an MG or something that Richard Hammond hates so much? But I'm not quite sure. But it looks a bit like that when we put it back right there. But I will have a look at the Mini, which is what I think that's what we called it. And make sure we didn't, because if we did not put it as far back as we could on the Mini, I think we'll do it on this car, because I think that could look quite interesting. So we'll do blue, maybe this looks quite good on most cars, and I think we'll still go with chrome trim. Chrome. There we go, chrome. And let's start. What's this pillar thing? That doesn't look too great. If we put it a bit more forward. I don't like that these are not similar. What do we call it? Yeah, I can't speak. Yeah. It was a really long time since I spoke English last time, so I'll use that as my excuse. But I think this is pretty much good. So we'll go ahead and start the time lapse. Or if you don't want to watch the time lapse, you can also just skip to the time shown on screen. And I'll see you guys later. So yeah guys, that was designing the Narbonne, I think it's pronounced, which is of course the replacement for the Martial. I think it turned out quite good. It may look a little boring from the front, and that's probably due to the I mean they're not square but almost square headlights, but I think it kind of works still. Now I realized the rear legroom is really small, so let's not look at that too much. But I think the rear turned out really well, although I think we should maybe put in some variation in the rear fascia of the cars, so it doesn't get too uniform, because I realized you couldn't really tell the Monaco and the Montpellier apart if you looked at... Oh wait, no, not... Or was it the Montpellier? No, it was another car. Because... Or maybe? No, I have no idea what I'm talking about. But it was the Monaco and another car, I think, that we made that you couldn't really tell apart from the rear. But it's got to have been the Montpellier. I have to look at the rear fascia, but anyways, before this gets long, let's talk about the specs. So it has 88.4 horsepower, and it's the mechanical fuel injection version of the engine. It weighs not much at all, it weighs just under a ton, and gets semi-good economy, or actually pretty good economy for this time period, about... that's not good, that's not very good at least, about 10 liters per 100 kilometers. That's not amazing, but it's sort of fine, I guess. Maybe better than other cars at the time, and it has the 3-gear automatic gearbox or transmission. But let's go ahead and get this car into production. So, getting the Narbonne into production, I think we're still aiming for about 48 months. Or do we go for... no, for 3 years instead of 4. 3 years, that would be about 36 months. I think we could do that, or we could learn something from this car. I think we're going for 48 months, so we can do a little more reliable tooling, and a little that we're already surpassed 48 months. I think that's good, and it will cost 38 million to engineer. That's not a lot at all, so that's very good. And we will need to make another factory, even though the Mercedes factory here will be freed up in very soon, and the V4000 Mark 1. I think it would still we will still benefit from making another factory. Could build it in Slovenia. Labor costs per skill, but no, maybe not. There isn't, except for we pay less taxes, there isn't really any benefit at all. The labor costs are higher and their skill is way lower, so let's not go with that. Let's keep it in Gasmia. And I think we'll go with a large tree, but the factories will be very overworked, which is not great. I think we'll have to build or to expand engine factories as well. But let's use the forecasting tool and see how much we can price it for. That's a lot of non-profits, which makes sense. So there we go. I think that's the best we can do. I don't think we wanna price it much higher. So the final price is 7,500 for the economy, or the economy, however you pronounce it, the cheapest version either way. 9,000 for the competent, and 8,2500, 8.25 for the rapid. Although I am not good at pronouncing this, I think it hopefully is fine. But let's go ahead and get these cars into BeamNG.drive, and let's drive them. So here we are in BeamNG.drive, and hopefully the UI doesn't take up too much of the screen. I have decreased the size a lot now from what I usually have, and hopefully it is a little less laggy because I turned on simplified collisions. But anyways, let's get going. I think it looks quite good in BeamNG, although we still have the white chrome. Maybe go down here. You're probably not allowed to, but there isn't anyone to stop us. So let's end it with a bit of a jump there. Where do we come if we go up here? I am not very good. I don't usually drive a lot in the cities in Italy. But we can try and navigate out of the city, mostly by using the map, because I don't really have any idea of where I'm going. Do we wanna come up onto the highway? No, I don't think we do. We don't wanna go to hell. So let's turn up here maybe, and maybe, wait, that road looks fun. So let's just take a bit of a detour onto this tight road, because it's a quite small car, and I don't think it would really fit if we had any larger of a car. So good thing we didn't make it any bigger. But let's... we stalled it. But let's go down here and keep going to where we were going before. Oops. That was not meant to happen, but it sure did. While getting lost in Italy, let's maybe change the config, and then we also get... it didn't really get any damage, but we're basically out of the city now. So let's turn over by the side of the road here. I think we damaged it a bit now, but let's turn over in someone's parking lot, and let's change into the more premium version. So here we have the more premium version, the competent, or however you pronounce it. So let's back out here if I can get into reverse. Here we go. And let's keep driving. Oh yeah, it's an automatic. I keep forgetting. Yesterday it was the complete opposite. I thought every car I exported was an automatic, and it turned out they were manual. But now I can't remember it's an automatic. I'll try this quite nicely. Maybe the revs a little too high before it changes gear. Not very realistic maybe. Or maybe it will still change. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm just trying to figure out how gears work. But let's keep going. the tires are getting a little hotter at least, as you can see by Luke's tire wear and temperature, whatever it's called, mod. I feel like it works quite well. Very fun when you do a lot of burnouts in old American muscle cars. But let's turn over here. And one thing I've noticed in the new update 0.20, is it 0.29 even? The tire sounds, I think they sound a lot better than what we had before. And I don't think, maybe I shouldn't like having tire squeal and stuff, because it's not very good for performance or something. I have no idea. But it sounds a lot better now, I think. So it's actually not horrible sliding a little bit. Although we won't do such a thing in this car. I think we're getting onto some pretty good roads here. So let's stop right here and change into the Rapid, or how we pronounce it. So here we have the Rapid, or how we pronounce it. But I think it maybe looks a bit too new for the mid-70s, but I'm probably wrong. So let's pop it into first gear and get going. And maybe we'll go rallying a little bit, but I don't think that's a very good idea probably. So let's try to warm up our tires a bit, like they do in NASCAR and probably a lot of other racing series. Ooh. Maybe it would have been better if we didn't do it at such a tight road. Okay, I will stop now, with our tires being pretty much exact same temperature as before. So that did absolutely nothing. But I really quite like this car. Sadly I didn't set up a good hood cam, so we'll have to stick with this one. But it drives quite nicely. And maybe gets a little light in the rear when you brake, but that's to be expected with such a short wheelbase car, and it has pretty soft springs, so that's probably why. I see there's almost, or basically, a hairpin up there. Maybe it's not as tight as a hairpin should be, but I might call it a hairpin either way. So let's pop it into first and rev a little more, since it's a sportier car. If I'm not talking very much, it's because I'm trying to focus and not crash. Ooh, I crashed almost. Maybe I did, I don't know. That was almost a jump. That was nice. It should be very oversteery, like this. Foreshadowing maybe. But let's turn around so we can keep going for a little bit. This recording is getting quite long, and I should probably end the video, so let's do that maybe up here somewhere. This is probably, so that was the signing and driving the whatever, the Narbonne, or how you pronounce it, I don't really know. I could try to pronounce it in the English way, but that would sound horrible. I have no idea, but it's probably not that either way. I really like this. It's I think it feels like I'm saying this every episode, but if I could have any car from our manufacturer so far, it would be this one. I quite like small hot hatches right now, but anyways, let's not get too bogged down with that. And I really hope you guys enjoyed, as I just said I did. And I hope I'll see you next time. But until then, bye.